There's one of those big old lizards, skink. You hear them running through the leaves when you walk down the path. You usually don't see them, and they make so much noise it sounds like it's a squirrel. It's those things. They're big. And when I was a kid, I just don't ever remember seeing any that big. It's just I mean, I'm sure they must have been here, but in the last few years, it seems like the little blue ones. But I mean, I looked them up, I think last year or something, and they're native. I think I looked it up, and they're definitely native. But I just don't remember when I was a kid. Those great big ones. I just remember the little blue ones, the blue purplish ones, and of course the regular old. There's one of the little ones. The regular lizards. Look at that thing. He's big. Look at him compared to the other one. He could eat the other one. The other one ran away. I think that's what was going to happen. That thing stuck its head up. It's like, I better get out of there. That's about. That little one was going to be lunch for that thing. Or breakfast. Feels like lunch. The sun's so high now in the mornings. It's only like 8:30. What you doing, big lizard? Look at that thing. Looks like his belly's full too. Probably flattens itself out sort of as a hiding mechanism, but I think it's also got a full belly. There's plenty around here for it to eat. There's no shortage of food for a big lizard like that. Man, that guy. I mean, you know, compared to other lizards, it's not that big, but for around here, that's a big one. They're not as pretty as those. That one over there is hiding, like sticking his head out like, where is that thing? Pretty cool. You get to see some nature in the morning. Yeah. How about that? Kind of enamored by those things. Like I said, I just don't even remember them when I was a kid. I don't remember big skinks like that. We had a lot of glass snakes. I don't see those as much now, but I used to come across those glass snakes a lot. Things go in cycles. Those little purple skinks, they seem to be pretty steady all the time. And of course the green anoles, those are, I haven't seen many of those walking around this I mean, they were out even in the winter time, so they're here. I just haven't seen many of them lately. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know why. I just haven't come across them. But yeah, just out. That really helped, that seeing that little animal, because I went on a walk around the waterfront this morning and it was just noisy and just kind of bumping into people. I can never get my mind calmed down. So I came over here and decided to take another short walk. Sorry, I've already walked. And yeah, you know, just seeing a little bit of nature like that kind of shifts your mind a little bit, kind of breaks the loop. You got to find ways to do that, and you got to find ways to do that without having to necessarily run into a lizard. But you know, that's kind of the types of things that we all deal with. It's just trying to get our focus back to something where we want it and calm and peaceful. And you getting text messages in the morning and things like that, and just kind of, you want to, there's a lot of to how you start your morning. So different people have different dispositions and different personalities, and they just, tend to more often kind of have what we would call good days versus bad days. It's just sort of the way the distribution of people are based on all sorts of reasons. But there's a lot of also a lot of evidence, or if that's for a lack of a better word, I don't know. I think a lot of knowledge, or how we start in the morning, the very early stuff, that like the very first things that we do in the morning, very first things that happen to us, can really set the tone for. Little squirrel's happy this morning. We're having a warmer day today than we've had. It's finally getting to be a little bit more like a summertime morning, but it's still not hot. Hey, little squirrel, you gonna set the tone this morning? So be like me. See me just hopping around the forest? Look at this. Yay! Wasn't that fun? Look at me, just hopping from tree to tree. This is how you live. He's moving right along, isn't he? What you doing, squirrel? Are you playing with me? Huh? Look at him. He's looking at me. But how we start our day tends to have a lot to do with how we feel throughout the day or think throughout the day. So, you need to try and just have good habits and practices so that you try to start your day and end your day with the right. And you can keep perfecting that, and you can change it through your life and everything like that. But you want to be aware of those behaviors and habits that you have, rather than just letting things happen. So a lot of people, when you're young, you sort of just have a lot of enthusiasm, and you kind of just have a direction that you're going in. But I think with the modern way that especially the schools are and whatnot, I think you'd still even there have some rigidity and that sort of things that maybe that used to not exist, and you got to be careful because that might not work for everybody. So you still, even as a young person, you need to be aware of this. Is how did I feel today versus yesterday? What did I eat? What did I do? Who did I talk to? How did I talk to them? How did they talk to me? How do you kind of like say, these are the things that tend to lead to a good day, and these are the things that kind of the day doesn't start off well. And the same thing when you're going to bed at night, your thinking, your meditation, your prayers, your winding down and saying what you're grateful for. That's a big part of it. So you get up in the morning, you do healthy things. As you kind of learn, as you get older, a little bit older, you got to learn that a lot of what we eat in the mornings, not necessarily, a lot of the things that are pushed on us to eat, the fast foods and the quick foods, are not the healthiest for our brains. So the good foods, your mama, that's one thing she's pretty good about is her foods, just the sugars. You don't want to be eating a lot of sugars the first thing in the morning, like refined sugars, dessert sugars, and Pop-Tarts and stuff like that. But the good fruit, the papayas and all that stuff, and the good eggs and things like that. But as you get older, too, your body is even more sensitive to those things. So you kind of want to start to learn what makes you feel good and not good, and all aspects, from how you start your thinking, your thought processes, breathing exercises, the thankfulness, the prayers, the connection with things, and also having a skill to be so aware that, hey, that's not my day, didn't really start off good or whatever, or I didn't go to bed, I went to bed with a lot on my mind, and trying to, as much as possible, be able to shift your thinking and developing the skills to actually kind of be able to do that, and if you're not able to do those things on a long, like over, a period of time, things stay a certain way, you need to
You need to really, analyze your environment that you're in, and something, and where you, and also, where you're getting sick from something, or this or that or the other. I mean, lots of things can affect us, and you got to be really careful. Like anything that you have, it's good to have a lot of, not there. You're smart enough, and there's enough information out there that you can know a lot for yourself about how to take care of yourself and how to read your own body, and so that we're not always reliant on just the doctor. That's not to say that doctors are bad. It's just to say that they've got lots of patients that they're treating, and so on the one hand, they've got certain knowledge about things that's good, and they can be extremely helpful. But on the other hand, they're not inside of you either. So they may have a way to treat something that's not the best way to treat it too, or they may have a way of treating something that's it's not the best long-term solution. It's not like it really changing a lot of medicine treats, like it's like it just treats a symptom, but it doesn't really fix a cure. There's a lot of our medicine is like that. So we want to be able to look at our body in a holistic means everything, not just one little piece of it. So a lot of times modern medicine focuses on and it's kind of the way, because, and some of that has to do with the way that science is done. It's like so there's like the good and the bad of our processes for regulating medicine. It's hard to prove things holistically, but it's easier to prove something that has a specific strict treatment. It's easier to test that, and people always talk about the scientific method as being so great. It is very important, but as Albert Einstein said, it has a lot of flaws too. So the scientific method is good for testing something that kind of can have a defined experiment, but it's not very good at testing things as a holistic system. So you learn in chemistry, there's a system, and that usually your assumptions are based into a system. So like a system, but anyhow, might be like what's going on in the spaghetti pot. Inside that pot is the system, and you're measuring everything that's within that pot, and you're holding everything outside of it as a separate set of variables, as if they're not really affecting what's going on in the spaghetti pot. And that's kind of how we can treat medicine sometimes. Like a lot of times, it's like, this person has some, whatever it might be. They have the sniffles. So let's take some medicine that gets rid of the sniffles. But they keep having the sniffles if they get off the medicine. So really, what is really causing the sniffles? How would you really fix the sniffles, or so to speak? And there's something like that. So that's where you got to really understand your own body, because you don't want to always just be treating the sniffles or whatever. That's just an analogy. You want to be living a life so you don't have the sniffles, but whatever. Just learn about yourself. I love you.